Your daily actions are killing you, not someday, not slowly in a way you can ignore, not in a distant future you can pretend doesn't exist. Right now, quietly, repeatedly, predictably, every scroll you didn't control, every promise you broke to yourself, every morning you chose comfort over growth, every night you said, "I'll start tomorrow," and tomorrow never came, because this isn't about one big mistake. It's about the small things you keep repeating, the things you call normal, the things you defend, the things you refuse to question, and that's exactly why they're dangerous. You don't feel the damage immediately. That's the trap. There's no alarm, no warning, no pain sharp enough to force you to stop. Just a slow erosion of your discipline, a silent weakening of your mind, a gradual loss of control, until one day you wake up and realize you're not the person you thought you'd become. But here's the truth most people will never accept. Your life is not built in moments. It's built in patterns. And your patterns are shaped by your daily actions. So if your actions are weak, your life becomes weak. If your actions are distracted, your life becomes scattered. If your actions are careless, your future becomes fragile. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your habits. And right now, your habits are either building you or quietly destroying you. Think about it. What do you do when no one is watching? What choices do you make when it's just you and your thoughts? What do you default to when discipline is required? That is your real identity, not your intentions, not your plans, not your dreams, your actions, because actions don't lie. You can talk about becoming stronger, smarter, more focused, but if your daily behavior contradicts that, then you're not becoming anything. You're just delaying reality. And delay is dangerous, because the longer you stay in weak patterns, the harder it becomes to break them. Your mind adapts, your standards drop, your tolerance for discomfort disappears, and before you know it, you start accepting a version of life you once said you'd never live. That's how people get stuck. Not because they lack potential, but because they repeat the wrong actions long enough for it to feel normal. And normal becomes identity. So let's strip away the illusion. You are not tired because life is hard. You are tired because your habits are draining you. You are not stuck because of bad luck. You are stuck because your actions lack direction. You are not weak because you were born that way. You are weak because you practice weakness daily. And what you practice, you become. Every single day you are casting votes. Votes for discipline or distraction. Votes for growth or comfort. Votes for power or excuses. And those votes add up. They shape your mind. They shape your body. They shape your future. So if your current life feels off, if you feel behind, frustrated, inconsistent, it's not random. It's the result of repeated actions. And the moment you understand that, you gain control. Because if actions can destroy you, they can also rebuild you. But only if you choose differently. And that's where most people fail. They want change without changing anything. They want results without discipline. They want a new life, but keep repeating the same behaviors. That contradiction is what keeps them trapped. Because change is not a decision. It's a system of actions. You don't become strong by thinking about it. You become strong by doing what's hard, repeatedly, without negotiation. You don't become focused by wishing for clarity. You become focused by removing distractions and staying consistent. You don't become disciplined overnight. You build discipline by honoring small commitments every single day. And yes, it's uncomfortable, because growth always is. But understand this clearly. Discomfort is not your enemy. Comfort is. Comfort is what keeps you scrolling instead of building. Comfort is what makes you quit when things get difficult. Comfort is what convinces you that later is acceptable. But later is a lie, because later becomes never, and never becomes regret. So if you're serious about changing your life, you have to start by changing your daily actions. Not everything at once, not perfectly, but deliberately. You wake up, you choose discipline. You feel resistance, you move anyway. You feel distracted, you refocus. You feel tired, you push just a little further. That's how it starts. Small, controlled decisions, repeated consistently, until they become automatic, until discipline becomes your default, until strength becomes your identity, until your mind becomes unbreakable. Because an unbreakable mind is not something you're born with. It's something you build through pressure, through repetition, through refusing to quit when it's easier to stop. And once you build it, everything changes. Your focus sharpens, your energy increases, your confidence becomes real, not because you feel different, but because you've proven to yourself that you can do hard things. And that proof is power. So the question is simple. What are your daily actions doing to you? Are they building you or slowly killing the person you could become? Because every day you delay change, you reinforce the very patterns holding you back. And every day you act with discipline, you move one step closer to the life you actually want. This is the moment most people scroll past. This is the moment they ignore. This is the moment they say, "I'll think about it later." But if you're still here, reading this, then you already know something has to change. And that change doesn't start tomorrow. It starts with your next action, right now. Not perfect, not dramatic, just intentional, because that's how transformation begins. One action, then another, until the person you used to be no longer exists, and in his place stands someone disciplined, focused, unshaken, an unbreakable mind. And before you go any further, writing, if this message is hitting you, if you're starting to see your own patterns, your own habits, your own truth in these words, then consider subscribing to this channel. Because this is where you rebuild your mindset, sharpen your discipline, and become the version of yourself most people are too afraid to become. Don't just watch, commit to growth. Now understand this. The moment you become aware of your actions is the moment everything changes. Because awareness destroys illusion. You can no longer pretend you don't know. You can no longer hide behind excuses. You can no longer say, "I didn't realize." Now you see it clearly. The wasted time, the broken promises, the repeated patterns. And that clarity is uncomfortable. But it's necessary, because you cannot change what you refuse to confront. And most people spend their entire lives avoiding that confrontation. They distract themselves. They justify their habits. They blame circumstances, anything to avoid facing the truth. But you're different now. You're looking directly at it. And that's where power begins. Because once you see the problem clearly, you can attack it precisely. No guessing, no confusion, just action, targeted, intentional, relentless. So now the question shifts. It's no longer what's wrong with my life. It becomes, what exactly am I doing every day that's keeping me here? And when you answer that honestly, you unlock the next level. Because now you're not reacting anymore. You're taking control. And once that shift begins, it doesn't announce itself with noise. There is no applause, no sudden transformation that the world can see, no dramatic moment where everything feels different overnight. It's quieter than that. It's the moment you wake up and don't negotiate with your alarm. It's the moment you choose focus when your mind begs for distraction. It's the moment you keep going when no one would blame you for stopping. That's where the real change lies. Not in intensity, but in consistency. Because intensity fades, motivation disappears, emotion fluctuates, but systems endure. And your daily actions are the foundation of that system. Right now, whether you realize it or not, you are running a system that either supports your growth or guarantees your stagnation. There is no neutral. Every habit you repeat strengthens something. So ask yourself again, honestly this time, what are you strengthening? Are you strengthening discipline? Or are you strengthening excuses? Are you strengthening focus? Or are you strengthening distraction? Are you strengthening resilience? Or are you strengthening avoidance? Because whatever you practice daily becomes automatic. And once it becomes automatic, it becomes difficult to break. That's why most people stay stuck. Not because they can't change, but because they've trained themselves not to. They've trained themselves to quit early, to seek comfort, to avoid effort, and then they wonder why life feels heavy, why everything feels hard, why progress feels impossible. But the truth is, they're not fighting life. They're fighting the consequences of their own repeated actions. And that fight is exhausting, because deep down they know what they should be doing, but they don't do it. And that gap between knowing and doing, that's where frustration lives. That's where self-doubt grows. That's where confidence dies. Because confidence is not built by thinking. It's built by execution. Every time you do what you said you would do, you build trust with yourself. Every time you don't, you break it. And a broken relationship with yourself is the most dangerous thing you can carry. Because if you don't trust yourself, nothing else matters. You won't follow through. You won't stay consistent. You won't push when it gets hard. You'll always fall back into the same patterns. So the goal is not just to change your actions. It's to rebuild trust with yourself. One action at a time. You say you'll wake up early, you do it. You say you'll work, you do it. You say you'll stop wasting time, you do it. No excuses, no delays, no negotiations. Because discipline is built in those moments. Not when it's easy, but when it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. That's the price. And most people don't want to pay it. They want results without sacrifice. Growth without discomfort. Strength without struggle. But that's not how this works. Everything valuable requires pressure. Your mind becomes stronger through resistance. Your discipline grows through repetition. Your identity shifts through consistent action. There is no shortcut. There is only the work. And the sooner you accept that, the faster you move forward. Because once you stop looking for easier ways, you start becoming stronger. And strength changes everything. It changes how you think, how you react, how you carry yourself. You stop avoiding challenges and start facing them. You stop making excuses and start making progress. You stop waiting for motivation and start acting regardless of how you feel. That's when you become dangerous, not to others, but to the weak version of yourself. The one that hesitates, the one that procrastinates, the one that settles. That version starts to disappear. And in its place, a new standard is built. A standard where you don't quit when things get hard. A standard where you don't betray your own word. A standard where your actions align with your goals. And once that alignment happens, momentum begins. Small at first, almost unnoticeable, but real. And momentum is powerful because it compounds. One disciplined day leads to another. One completed task builds confidence. One focused hour turns into progress. And progress fuels more action. That's how you escape the cycle. Not by doing something extreme, but by doing something consistent, again and again, until it becomes who you are. Because identity is not what you claim, it's what you repeat. If you repeat discipline, you become disciplined. If you repeat focus, you become focused. If you repeat strength, you become strong. But if you repeat distraction, if you repeat laziness, if you repeat avoidance, then that becomes you too, whether you like it or not. So the responsibility is yours, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Because every moment you delay, you reinforce the wrong version of yourself. And every moment you act, you move closer to the person you're capable of becoming. So choose carefully, because your daily actions are not small. They are everything. They are shaping your mind. They are defining your future. They are deciding who you become. And if you continue on the wrong path, they will slowly destroy you. But if you take control, if you become intentional, if you commit to discipline, no matter how uncomfortable it feels, then those same actions will rebuild you into something stronger, something sharper, something unshakable, an unbreakable mind. And that's the difference. Not talent, not luck, not circumstances, actions, daily, repeated, controlled. So the next time you feel the urge to delay, to scroll, to avoid, remember this: You are not just making a small choice. You are casting a vote for the person you are becoming. So ask yourself, is this action building me or destroying me? And then act accordingly. Because in the end, you don't become what you want. You become what you do. Every single day. Now we test if this is real or just another moment that fades. Because right here, this exact point is where people fall off. Not at the beginning, not when it's exciting, but here, when it requires consistency. So stay locked in. Let me ask you something deeper now. What happens when no one is watching you? Not when you're motivated, not when you feel inspired, when it's quiet, when it's just you and your choices. Do you still act with discipline, or do you fall back into old patterns? Be honest, because that answer reveals everything. That's your true standard. Not what you show the world, but what you do in private. That's who you really are. And if your private actions don't match the person you want to become, then you're living in conflict. And conflict destroys progress. So we fix that. Right now. No more separation between who you say you are and what you actually do. They become one. Aligned. Solid. Unbreakable. Now listen carefully. You don't need more information. You already know enough. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. You know what you should be doing. So why aren't you doing it? That's the only question that matters. Because information without action is useless. And overconsumption is just another form of avoidance. Watching, listening, learning, but never executing. That ends now. From this moment forward, you become a person of action. Small actions, immediate actions, consistent actions. No delay. So here's what I want you to do next. Not later, not after this ends. Immediately after this, you will take one action that moves your life forward. Just one. Could be starting the work you've been avoiding, turning off distractions, organizing your environment, writing down your plan, taking control of your time. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's intentional, as long as it breaks the old pattern, because the first action is the hardest. After that, it gets easier. Not easy, but easier. Now imagine this. You finish this message, and you do nothing. Everything you just felt, gone. Everything you just understood, wasted. And you go right back to the same routine, same habits, same excuses, same results. That's one path. Now the other path, you finish this, and you act. Immediately, no hesitation, no overthinking. You just move. That single action creates momentum. Momentum creates consistency. Consistency creates identity. And identity shapes your life. That's how powerful one decision can be. So don't underestimate this moment. This is not just another video, not just another message. This is a turning point, if you decide it is. Now let's go even deeper, because discipline is not just about action. It's about control. Control over your thoughts. Control over your impulses. Control over your environment. Because if you don't control those things, they will control you. Your phone will control your attention. Your emotions will control your decisions. Your environment will control your behavior. And you will keep reacting instead of leading. So take back control. Start with your environment. Look around you. Does your environment support your growth or your distractions? Be honest, because your environment is shaping your actions daily. If it's filled with distractions, you will be distracted. If it's built for focus, you will be focused. So change it, not perfectly, but intentionally. Remove what weakens you. Add what strengthens you. Simple. Now your mind, your thoughts. This is where the real battle happens. Because before every action, there is a thought. And most people let their thoughts run freely, uncontrolled, undirected. That's why they feel stuck. So now you take control. When a weak thought appears, I'll do it later. This is too hard. I don't feel like it. You don't accept it. You challenge it. Immediately, replace it with, do it now. Hard is the point. Move anyway. That's mental discipline. And the more you practice it, the stronger you become. Now your impulses. This is where most people lose, because impulses are fast, automatic, emotional, and if you don't control them, they will dictate your actions. So slow down. Create space between impulse and action. That moment is power. In that moment, you decide, do I follow this impulse, or do I act with intention? That's the difference between weak and strong minds. Weak minds react. Strong minds choose. And you're building a strong mind. Right now, action by action, decision by decision. So stay with it. Stay focused. Because this isn't about being perfect. You will slip. You will feel resistance. You will have moments of weakness. That's normal. But here's the difference now. You don't stay down. You don't spiral. You don't quit. You correct immediately and keep moving. That's discipline. Not perfection, but persistence. Now let's lock this in. Right here, right now. I want you to make a decision. Not emotional. Not temporary. Permanent. I will not go back to who I was. Say it. Mean it. Because the moment you decide that, everything shifts. Your standards rise. Your actions change. Your mindset sharpens. And your life follows. So this is it. No more waiting. No more excuses. No more wasted time. You know what to do. Now go prove it. Not to the world, but to yourself. Now we strip everything down to truth. No noise. No comfort. No escape. Just you and reality. Because this is where strength is forged. Not in ease. Not in convenience. But in confrontation. So listen carefully. There will come a day, whether you like it or not, when everything you've been avoiding stands in front of you. Your wasted time. Your missed opportunities. Your broken discipline. All of it. And in that moment, you won't be able to lie to yourself anymore. That's the day most people fear. Not because life is hard, but because they know they didn't give their best when they had the chance. And regret is heavier than effort will ever be. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself, not to impress others, but to stay awake. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Not tomorrow, not later, right now. Let that sink in. Because time is not waiting for you to feel ready. It's moving, with or without your discipline, with or without your growth. And every second you waste is a second you will never get back. So ask yourself deeply, honestly, if today was a reflection of your entire life, would you be proud of it? Or would you feel that quiet disappointment, the kind that doesn't scream, but lingers? That feeling that you could have been more, done more, become more. That's the emotional cost of weak actions. And most people carry it silently. They smile on the outside, but inside they know. They know they're not living at their highest level. They know they're settling. They know they're capable of more, but they don't act. And that gap between potential and action is where pain lives. Now listen, Stoicism doesn't teach you to ignore pain. It teaches you to use it, to face it, to let it sharpen you. Epictetus was once a slave. He didn't control his circumstances, but he controlled his mind. And he said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. That means no more talking, no more planning without execution, no more saying I will without proving it through action. Because your life is not built on what you say. It's built on what you do, daily, repeatedly, relentlessly. Now feel this. Every time you choose distraction over discipline, you are choosing a weaker version of yourself. Every time you delay what matters, you are feeding the very life you claim to hate. And every time you break your own word, you are destroying trust within yourself. That's not small. That's everything. Because once you lose trust in yourself, you hesitate, you doubt, you stop believing in your own ability to change. And that's how people stay stuck for years. Not because they can't grow, but because they no longer believe they will. So we rebuild that belief, not with motivation, with action, cold, direct, uncomfortable action, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. because feelings are temporary. But discipline, that's a choice, and choices shape identity. Now imagine this, you're older, years have passed. You look back at this exact moment, this decision point. What do you see? Do you see someone who ignored the call to change? Someone who stayed comfortable? Someone who kept repeating the same patterns? Or do you see someone who decided, this is where it ends? Someone who took control. Someone who built strength when it was easier to stay weak. That future version of you is watching you right now, not judging, but waiting to see what you do next. So don't disappoint that version, because deep down, you already know what needs to be done. You don't need another sign. This is it. And Seneca said it clearly. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The difficulty you fear is rarely as heavy as the regret of inaction. So stop imagining failure. Start executing action. Right now. Not perfectly, but powerfully. Because power is built in movement, in doing, in showing up when it's hard. And every time you do that, you send a message to your mind. I am in control. That message, repeated daily, creates an unbreakable identity, an unbreakable mind. So when resistance comes, and it will, when your mind whispers, skip it, rest, do it later, you respond with action, immediate, decisive, non-negotiable, because you're no longer the person who listens to weakness. You're the person who overrides it. That's the shift. That's the transformation. Not loud, not flashy, but real and permanent. So feel this moment. Let it hit you. Let it stay with you. Because this is not just motivation. This is a decision point, a line in your life, before and after. Before, distraction, delay, inconsistency. After, discipline, action, control. You choose, right now. And whatever you choose will echo in your future. So choose strength, choose discipline, choose the hard path, because that path leads to a life most people will never experience. A life built on control, clarity, power, an unbreakable mind. Now go and prove it. Before you can stop killing yourself with bad habits, you need to know exactly what's killing you. The first step is awareness. Most people never look at their daily actions honestly. They scroll through life as if by autopilot. But the habits you do every single day, some are harmless, but some are silently toxic. Ask yourself, are my mornings productive? Or am I wasting the first hour scrolling on my phone? Am I eating for fuel? Or am I eating out of boredom and comfort? Do my actions move me closer to my goals? Or do they push me further away? Identifying these killers isn't about judgment, it's about clarity. Write down every habit you do daily for a week. From the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep, note every action. Then, circle the ones that don't serve you. These are your silent assassins. The power of this step is that awareness alone begins the transformation. Once you know what's killing you, your brain starts naturally resisting it. You can't fight an enemy you don't see. But once you see it, you have a fighting chance. But spotting the killers isn't just about writing down your habits. It's about digging deeper into why they exist. Ask yourself, why do I keep doing this thing, even though it's clearly harming me? Often, habits survive because they serve an emotional purpose, even if it's a harmful one. Maybe scrolling through social media fills a void of boredom or loneliness. Maybe reaching for unhealthy food soothes stress or anxiety. Maybe procrastination protects you from fear of failure. When you understand the why behind your actions, the solution becomes clearer. Awareness isn't just seeing, it's understanding. The moment you identify the trigger, the emotion, the time of day, the environment, you gain a tool to stop the chain before it starts. For example, if you notice you always reach for junk food at 3 p.m., you can plan a healthy snack or a brief walk for that exact time. The awareness of the trigger turns a mindless reaction into a conscious choice. Here's a practical exercise. For the next 7 days, track not only what you do, but also how you feel before and after each action. This creates a map of your behavior and its emotional roots. You'll start to see patterns you've never noticed before. Perhaps every time you scroll Instagram, you feel anxious afterward. Perhaps skipping workouts leaves you with lingering guilt. These patterns are the silent killers in disguise. They seem harmless at first glance, but they accumulate damage over time, eroding your energy, focus, and self-respect. This process also helps you separate habit from identity. Many people think, "I'm just lazy," or "I'm just weak-willed." That's a trap. You're not inherently lazy or weak. You're reacting to habits that have been unconsciously built over years. By spotting these killers, you reclaim the narrative. You are not your habits. You control your habits. You are the conscious observer who decides which actions deserve your time, your energy, and your attention. One of the most powerful aspects of this awareness is how it affects your decision-making throughout the day. Once you notice the killers, you start seeing them everywhere. In your morning routine, your work habits, your social interactions, even in the way you spend your free time. And here's the truth. Those small daily choices matter far more than you think. Skipping your morning exercise might feel insignificant today, but repeated over months, it erodes discipline, energy, and mental clarity. Watching mindless content for an hour might feel like relaxation, but over years, it trains your brain to crave constant distraction and avoid discomfort. By shining a light on these behaviors, you create a new baseline for conscious living. Awareness is like turning on the lights in a dark room. You finally see the hazards you were walking past blindly. And here's the subtle secret. Once you see these killers, they often lose half their power simply because you recognize them. The mind resists being manipulated in the shadows. Once an unconscious habit is brought into the light, you can choose not to feed it anymore. Now, spotting the killers doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean you'll suddenly stop all negative behaviors immediately. Transformation isn't an on-off switch. It's a series of small, deliberate actions guided by awareness. Think of it as reconnaissance before battle. You're mapping the terrain before making your move. Some days you'll fail. You'll catch yourself slipping into old habits. That's okay. Awareness ensures that every slip isn't another unconscious defeat. It's data, a signal that helps you adjust, refine, and grow stronger. Finally, to truly harness awareness, make it interactive. Share your findings with a trusted friend or mentor. Verbalizing your habits forces your brain to process them more deeply. It also creates accountability. When someone else knows what you're working to change, the silent killers have even less room to hide. And when you track progress over weeks, even the smallest victories, like noticing the urge to scroll and stopping yourself, become monumental milestones. At the end of the day, spotting the killers is about reclaiming control over your life. It's about refusing to let unconscious routines dictate your health, your productivity, and your future. Every day is filled with choices, and most people live those choices on autopilot. But you have the power to wake up, to observe, and to act intentionally. The killers are real, and they are silent, but awareness is your first weapon, the spark that begins the chain of transformation. Once you know the killers, the next step is to break the pattern. Awareness is just the first spark. Action is what sets the fire. Most people try to quit a bad habit by just saying, "Stop," and that's where they fail. Removing something without replacing it creates a vacuum, and the human brain hates a vacuum. It will fill it with something, often another destructive habit. Instead of just quitting, replace the bad habit with a positive one. For example, replace scrolling at night with reading a book or journaling. Replace late-night snacking with a healthy alternative or a glass of water. Replace procrastination with micro-steps toward your goal, even if it's just 5 minutes. Breaking a habit isn't about willpower, it's about pattern replacement. The more you associate the old trigger with a new, constructive action, the faster your brain rewires itself. Over time, the bad habit loses its grip. Think about it like this: the habits you maintain today aren't just actions. They're the architecture of your future self. Every small replacement builds a stronger, more capable version of you. Think about it like this: the habits you maintain today aren't just actions. They're the architecture of your future self. Every small replacement builds a stronger, more capable version of you. But this process requires more than simple intention. It requires strategy, repetition, and patience. The first step in breaking a pattern is to identify the exact cue that triggers the behavior. Habits are rarely random. They are responses to specific signals. It could be stress, boredom, fatigue, certain environments, or even certain people. For example, you may notice that every time you sit down at your desk after lunch, your hand automatically reaches for a phone instead of opening a productivity tool. That automatic action is the pattern your brain has built over time. To break it, you need to replace it with a new, positive action that satisfies the same need. Replacement works because the brain doesn't like a vacuum. If you remove a habit without filling the gap, the brain will fill it with something else, often another destructive habit. That's why willpower alone rarely works. Without a replacement, the old behavior resurfaces. For instance, if you try to stop scrolling social media without finding another way to manage boredom, you'll likely fall back into the same cycle. But if you replace it with something engaging, writing, drawing, reading, or even a short walk, the habit is displaced and you begin building new neural pathways. Another critical aspect is making the new habit irresistible. This is where creativity and reward come into play. Habits are reinforced by pleasure, however small. If the replacement habit is boring or feels like punishment, your brain will resist it. Find ways to make it enjoyable. Pair your workout with a favorite podcast, or reward yourself with a small treat after completing a productive task. The goal is to create a habit loop. Cue positive action reward. Over time, the new pattern becomes automatic, replacing the old destructive one. Consistency is the secret ingredient. Change doesn't happen overnight. Every time you consciously choose the new action over the old one, you're retraining your brain. Think of each replacement as a brick in the foundation of your better self. Miss a day? That's okay. What matters is that you return immediately, without guilt, without judgment. Each choice matters more than the occasional failure. Progress is measured in cumulative actions, not isolated perfection. It's also crucial to understand that breaking patterns is both mental and environmental. The environment you create either strengthens your old habits or supports your new ones. If you're trying to stop snacking late at night, don't just rely on willpower. Remove unhealthy food from your reach and stock healthier alternatives. If you're trying to stop mindless scrolling, place your phone in another room or use apps that limit screen time. Change the surroundings, and the brain finds it easier to follow new patterns. A Stoic perspective can reinforce this process. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Replacing a habit is not about controlling the world. It's about controlling your reaction to the triggers in your environment. Every time you choose the replacement habit, you are exercising control over your mind, shaping your destiny one action at a time. Another practical tip is to start small. Don't try to replace a massive destructive habit with something equally monumental all at once. If you want to stop procrastinating on work, don't force yourself into a 4-hour productivity sprint. Start with 5 or 10 minutes. Small wins compound over time, creating momentum that carries you through bigger challenges. Finally, track your progress. Keep a journal, use habit tracking apps, or simply mark a calendar each day you successfully replace a destructive habit. This not only reinforces the behavior but provides visible proof of growth. Over weeks and months, the cumulative effect is profound. You'll notice energy levels rising, clarity improving, and confidence building. The old habit loses its appeal because your new patterns are stronger, more satisfying, and aligned with your goals. Breaking the pattern is not just about removing something bad. It's about constructing something better in its place. Awareness alone identifies the killers, but replacement is the weapon that disarms them. The process is simple in concept but requires commitment. Identify the trigger, select a satisfying replacement, make it consistent, and reinforce it through rewards and environment. Over time, the new habit becomes automatic, and the old destructive patterns fade into irrelevance. By mastering this principle, you gain freedom. Freedom from self-sabotage, freedom from unconscious decisions, freedom to live intentionally. Your daily choices no longer define you, they empower you. And once you have this foundation, the next step becomes easier, learning to delay impulses and control urges, which we will cover in the next point. Now that you understand replacement, let's tackle a simple trick that makes habit breaking almost automatic, the 5-minute rule. Sometimes the hardest part isn't the habit itself, it's the moment of temptation. That moment when your brain screams for comfort, indulgence, or distraction. This is where the 5-minute rule comes in. Here's how it works. The next time you feel the urge to do something harmful, delay it by 5 minutes. During those 5 minutes, do literally anything else, even something trivial like standing up, stretching, or taking a deep breath. Why it works: urges are temporary. They rise like waves, they peak, crash, and dissipate. Most people fail because they ride the wave instead of letting it pass. By giving yourself just 5 minutes, you allow the urge to weaken, and your brain gains control instead of reacting impulsively. You can even scale this up. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, the principle is the same. Delay is your weapon against the unconscious actions that are killing your potential. Over time, delayed reactions become habitual self-control, and the killers lose their power. With the natural rhythm of your brain, urges and impulses are not permanent. They rise, peak, and then fade. Your brain sends a signal, a craving, a momentary desire, but most of these impulses are temporary. By simply pausing and waiting, you give yourself a chance to respond consciously rather than react impulsively. That small pause creates a space where rational thought can intervene. You're no longer a prisoner of habit. You become the observer and the decision maker. For example, imagine you're trying to quit late-night snacking. The moment you feel the craving, instead of immediately reaching for the food, you pause. Tell yourself, "I'll wait 5 minutes." During that short window, you might distract yourself with a glass of water, a stretch, or even a brief walk. Often, the craving will lose its intensity by the time the 5 minutes are over. And if it doesn't, you've bought yourself time to make a conscious choice, to eat mindfully, choose a healthier option, or skip it entirely. That 5 minutes becomes the difference between mindless submission and empowered control. The 5-minute rule isn't limited to food or health habits. It works for emotional impulses, procrastination, and even toxic behaviors. When someone triggers you in a conversation, when anger rises, or when the urge to lash out appears, apply the rule. Pause, breathe, count 5 minutes in your mind. That short delay can prevent regretful words, rash actions, or decisions that later feel like self-sabotage. The pause transforms your response from reactive to intentional, aligning your actions with your long-term values rather than fleeting emotions. Another way to maximize the effectiveness of this rule is to pair it with a physical action. Stand up, step away from the trigger, stretch, or take a short walk. Physical movement signals to your brain that a shift is happening. Your body and mind become synchronized in resisting the impulse. This combination, pause plus movement, dramatically increases your ability to override destructive habits. A Stoic perspective reinforces this technique perfectly. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The 5-minute rule embodies this principle. External events, temptations, triggers, urges, will always exist. They cannot be fully controlled, but how you respond is entirely within your power. By implementing a brief pause, you assert control over your mind. You refuse to be a slave to impulses, and you reclaim authority over your actions. It's important to understand that mastery over impulses is gradual, not instantaneous. Some days you will fail. You might forget to pause, or the urge might feel too strong. That's normal. The key is not perfection, it's consistency. Each time you successfully delay an impulse, you reinforce a neural pathway of self-control. Over weeks and months, these pathways strengthen, and your ability to resist impulses becomes natural, almost automatic. What once required effort now requires minimal thought. The 5-minute rule also teaches patience, which is one of the most underrated strengths in life. Many people fail not because they lack talent, intelligence, or discipline, but because they succumb to instant gratification. Waiting 5 minutes may feel trivial, but it trains your mind to defer short-term satisfaction for long-term gain. It's a simple exercise that builds resilience, mental toughness, and foresight. Your brain begins to recognize that not every urge needs immediate action. You start to see impulses for what they are, temporary signals, not commands. To implement the 5-minute rule effectively, make it automatic. Decide in advance. Whenever I feel the urge, I will pause for 5 minutes. Don't rely on memory or willpower in the moment. Set a clear rule. You can even use reminders, phone alarms, sticky notes, or visual cues in your environment. The more you pre-plan, the less mental energy is required to execute it when temptation strikes. Finally, combine this rule with reflection. After each pause, take a moment to ask yourself, was this impulse serving me or hurting me? How do I feel now? This reflection deepens your awareness, strengthens your decision-making, and reinforces the habit of conscious action. Over time, the pause becomes a natural part of your mental rhythm, and the urges lose their power. In essence, the 5-minute rule is a simple but powerful tool to reclaim control over your life. It transforms reactive habits into intentional choices, aligns your actions with your long-term goals, and gradually builds resilience and self-discipline. By mastering the art of delay, you weaken the silent killers in your life and create space for conscious, deliberate action. The urge no longer controls you, you control the urge. And that is the first step toward building a life of purpose, discipline, and unshakable inner strength. You've seen it now, your daily actions are not harmless. They are silent assassins, slowly eroding your energy, your focus, your potential, and your future. Every skipped workout, every moment of distraction, every impulse you gave into without thought, they all add up. And yet, the power to change it lies entirely in your hands. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a cliff. Behind you is the comfort of old habits, familiar and easy, but they lead to decay, regret, and stagnation. Ahead of you is the unknown path of discipline, conscious choice, and relentless growth. The path is not easy. It demands courage. It demands sacrifice. But it leads to freedom, mastery, and a life that echoes your true potential. You've learned how to spot the killers, how to break the patterns, how to delay impulses, and how to shape your environment so it serves you, not enslaves you. These aren't just tips. They are weapons in the war against your own weakness. Every day you wield them, every choice you make with awareness, you reclaim a little more power over your life. Imagine a version of yourself 6 months from now, a year from now, a decade from now. The choices you make today, small, consistent, intentional, will carve the life of that future self. Will they see a person trapped by unconscious habits, drifting through life? Or will they see a warrior, disciplined, unstoppable, someone who refuses to let life's silent killers dictate their destiny? This is not a metaphor. This is reality. Your habits are shaping your life right now, this very moment. And you have the chance to fight back, to reclaim control, and to craft a legacy worth leaving. So stand up, take a deep breath, look at your life with unflinching honesty. Identify what is killing you, replace it with what empowers you, pause when urges strike, and shape the world around you to make success inevitable. Every choice matters. Every small victory compounds. Every moment of conscious action is a brick in the foundation of your future. The clock is ticking. The silent killers are patient. They wait for an action. But you are awake now. You are aware. And awareness is the first step toward freedom. Remember this: life doesn't reward excuses. It doesn't reward comfort or indecision. Life rewards action, courage, and relentless discipline. Take the first step today. Replace one bad habit. Delay one impulse. Shape one corner of your environment. And then repeat. Day after day, choice after choice, moment after moment. You are building a life that no habit, no fear, no external force can destroy. The war is real. The enemy is silent. But you are ready. You are armed. You are conscious. And when you rise each day with awareness, courage, and deliberate action, you will look back one day and realize you didn't just survive, you became unstoppable. And before you go, here's something important. If you want to keep leveling up, if you want more tools, more insights, and more ways to take control of your life and crush the habits that are holding you back, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Join this community of warriors who refuse to live on autopilot. Hit subscribe, Turn on notifications and start building the life you deserve. One conscious, unstoppable action at a time. Because every day you wait is a day your silent killers win. Don't give them that chance. Subscribe now and take control of your destiny.